This video was published by MBKP International. In this video, I'm going to talk about changing the blade and the cut pad on the Stack S12 paper cutter. And okay, you got this. These cutters will come with this blade changing tool here. And the only other thing you'll need is a Phillips screwdriver. First thing you want to do is raise your handle here. You can lower this down, and you can remove this safety shield by just pulling up on it and then pulling out. Pretty simple. I'll put that safety shield to the side now. And actually, we're going to change the cut pad first, so I'm going to leave this up, and I'm going to take this handle off because it could get in the way. And we're going to just flip this upside down and turn it on its side. And you may need a 10 millimeter wrench here on this. These aren't very tight, so I'll be able to do it with my fingers, but you may need a 10 millimeter wrench. So you want to loosen these up a few turns, 3 or 4 turns each. They're basically pushing on the red cut pad to help keep it in place. If you need to, you can see there's holes here where there's red. You can push up on those to push the cut pad out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But there's another thing here I want to show you first. There's this tan piece here. You can push up on it just with your finger or screwdriver and it'll fall out, and that helps hold the cut pad as well. And then I'll just I'll lift this up as I'll show you. I'll push up. I'm going to push it up in here with the screwdriver, and you can see the cut pad coming out there. There, it just fell out. Okay. So then I'm going to flip it around now so you can see it. And these two things are the two things I pushed out. This one at the end down here like this I pushed out, and this one in the middle. Basically, you got 4 sides to this cut pad, so you can use either side, or you can put in a new cut pad, whatever you need to do. But once you get the old one out, you're just going to put the new one back in. This is a pretty new cut pad, so I'm just going to put it back in the way it was, just like that. It's very simple. And then this would go in like this. You just push it up against it, and then push it down in and you actually pretty much got to put it in straight in at the same, like that, and then just push it down. Okay, and it keeps it in there nice and tight, so don't move. And then you just basically want to go back under here and snug down these 10 millimeter bolts here. I'd use a 10 millimeter wrench, but just slightly snug them. You can probably get it with your fingers is good enough, but I'd use a 10 millimeter wrench just to snug them slightly. You don't want to dig into it too much because then you can ruin that side of that cut pad. But just a light snug on them, and the cut pad's not going to be moving at all. And that's your goal. You want to get it in there so it doesn't move the cut pad during the cuts. Okay, so that's very simple there. Changing the cut pad. I'm going to go ahead and put this handle back in. Okay. And for the blade, it's also very simple. Actually, I just did that a little too soon here. I'm going to take that back out. One thing you do want to remove, we already moved this plastic shield. For changing the blade, you want to remove this cover here. And I'm going to show you that right now. It's just one Phillips screw right there. So I'm going to loosen that Phillips screw and take it out. Okay. And we'll bring it up here. You can always grab by this thing. Here's a good place to grab. You want to be very careful because this blade is there. You don't want to grab here and you can cut yourself very bad if you try to do that. So be very aware of where this blade is at when you're messing with this. You can grab here, but just be very careful knowing the blade is right there too. And these blades are razor sharp, so you could slice yourself very bad on these things if you're not paying attention. So always be very aware where that blade's at. Don't have anybody around this that doesn't know where that blade's at, and make sure everybody's old enough to even be around it. But remove that screw, and this should pull straight up. Hopefully you won't drop it like I did, but there's a tab there that just goes in that like that when you put it back. Okay, now we're gonna use this handle here. And you see you got all these screws here? Basically you're gonna cup that and take the screws out. But for now you can remove most of the screws except for maybe the center one. You just can get, and again, be very careful here on there. Make sure you don't cut yourself. We're going to remove 3 from this side and 3 from the other side. I'm gonna put these down. Okay, now you got the last screw. So before you remove that, this is where you want to use your tool. And you see you got like a V shape cut out in the tool, and that's where your blade's just gonna go right into that blade like that to hold it. And you want to center it about around that last screw there, the handle. And then just take this last screw out. And your blade's gonna come free. Very simple, just go down nice and slow. Try not to hit the clamp there, like keep it pulled this way so you don't chip. It's not important on removing it because you're removing an old dull blade, so if you hit that clamp bringing it out, it's not a big deal. But you remove the blade like that. Obviously you take it somewhere and lay it on a bench and then put your new blade in place. And just make sure you don't put it backwards. Just make sure as you can see on this one, the cut of the blade is going that way. It's straight on the back basically. The angle's in front. Okay, once you remove the old, put a new blade in this holder, then bring the new blade back and just very carefully slide it up in there and line it up on those screw holes. I'll put this down and see if I can start one with my fingers here. Again, you'd probably want to go in reverse, so try to get this center one first. And just very lightly snug it because you want to make sure you get all these lined up before you tighten it down real good. Very lightly on all of them. Do this quick as I can. And just so you know, this is actually the first time I've ever changed the blade on the new Stack S12 paper cutter. It's a little bit of different change to it. So if I start doing this a few more times, if I did a few more times, I'd get a little better at it. But as you can see, it's very easy to do. Your main concern is always make sure you're aware where that blade's at all time, the sharp edge of it especially, and that you don't cut yourself. Okay, once you get them all in, just go down the line and snug them. You can start from this end. It don't have to be real tight, but it has to be tight. And just go from that one, and then you go to this one. Just go back and forth on them as you work your way into the center. And then the last one. And that's basically it. Very simple. Other than putting your shield and this back on. This little tab will slip right into there. And again, you can hold this as a handle. Be very careful with the blade. Don't cut yourself. Just flip it around. And we'll put that last screw in. You may have to slide it a little bit if it's not lined up perfectly. I think I got it lined up though. Maybe I didn't. Apparently I didn't have it lined up. Sorry about that. Let me take another look at this. Basically, I'm fishing for the hole where that thing was in. I'm taking a look and line this hole up a little better. I can see the hole right there. Pay a little closer attention to lining it up, you won't have as much trouble as I just did. And that's basically it, other than putting your safety shield back on. And the safety shield has a slot right there, and it just slides into that, and then this hole here goes onto this peg here. Pretty simple. I'll put this back on. And that's pretty much it. Very easy to change. I'd do it a lot quicker if I did it the next time. I'd line this up a little bit better. But I think that's it. Just hold on to your tool. You don't want to lose it, or you have to purchase another one or anything. But just put it in a good place so you don't lose it. So you always have it whenever you need to change the blade. This video was published by MBKP International.